the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Bring him on. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Praise be to Allah. Brothers and sisters, remain standing. I just want to say this. I don't have to introduce the minister, but in many ways I believe we all need to be introduced, because I don't believe we really know who we see. I want to give a personal testimony. I'm still asking Allah to help me see who is in front of us clearly, because I believe if we would strive to see him clearer, we would hear better and act better. There's a talk that he gave us last night that fed my soul. And I know our souls are ready to be fed today. I believe you prayed for deliverance today. I believe you prayed for the medicine to be poured into the wound that you got today. I believe everybody said a special prayer for their need. Well, if you said that special prayer, then let us all strive. Let us all ask Allah to help us see who it is we see. Because saying Minister Louis Farrakhan simply identifies who we think we know. I believe that Allah, through his great power of evolution, we say Rab, that evolutionary quality doesn't allow us to have a frozen picture of a man still moving beyond the speed of light and sound. So with that, let us again receive the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, to whom all praise is due. We thank him for his coming in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi, who came among us and searched among us for one worthy to carry the weighty word and the weighty mission of the resurrection of our people. Yes, sir. He named him his messenger. But that was a title that he wore when he was among us. Yes. In the first stage or phase of his work. After 40 years among us, some of us heard him say he was just beginning to understand his mission more fully. And his real mission had not yet begun. Well, if 40 years among us, his real mission had not yet begun, then what was his real mission? We thank Allah for his Messiah, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. My dear and beloved followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'm very happy and honored to be in your midst. And I thank Allah for Minister Dawood and our beloved Captain, Secretary, Sister Captain, and support staff, and all the work that you attempt to do in the cause of Islam. As a student and follower of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I am grateful for whatever you do to help in this great cause. In this house this afternoon, there are some of the great followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad of the past and the present.
Yes, sir.
And I'm honored to see those ministers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I would hope and pray that those men and those women who worked so hard with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on behalf of the resurrection of our people, that you will not get tired, and that you will recognize that you are never too old to impart wisdom to a people who are deprived of maybe what you forgot. They don't even know that. So every one of you can teach our poor people. But, you know, I want to talk about our Father and what did he mean when he said he was just beginning to understand his assignment and that his real mission had not yet begun. When would it begin? Under what circumstances would it begin? And what were we doing under his leadership and guidance for 40 years? As a people, we've never thought too much of ourselves. And that is equal to the sin of thinking too much of ourselves. It's very difficult for us to believe that we would be visited by God. That's tough stuff. Yet it happened. You say, well, wait a minute. After the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left, we came into a greater understanding of Allah. And Allah could not come in the person of a man. God doesn't do those things. Now you just stop. Allah is the eternal. But he works through the finite. He does. If the Quran teaches us that there is no reality but Allah, then every scientific discovery that advances humanity forward, who's behind it? You might say this was Einstein, this is Newton, this is Boyle, this is Pythagoras, this is Socrates. Oh, no. These are just little atoms of the eternal God moving through time and space and history to advance human beings. The greatest of human beings are those men whom God chooses to carry the message of enlightenment of himself. Now, I was just interviewed by some of our Arab Muslim brothers, and they were questioning me about the differences between us and the world of Islam. And people say that you all are not real Muslims, you know. I said, well, what are the differences? I said, well, we believe that Allah came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And you say, oh, that is not Islam. This is terrible that you would say that God coming in a man. I didn't say this part, but I'll tell you what I said, and then I'll say the part that I didn't say. I said, no, either we are wrong or we have an understanding that you need to come into. If we are truly un-Islamic, why are we successful in the face of our enemies? If we're truly un-Islamic. I said, let's look at what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us. And very briefly, I said, in the Quran and in the history, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was in a cave where he would repair to seek the guidance of Allah. And one night in the cave, they call it now Laylat al-Qadr, the night of power, he heard these words, Iqra, read in the name of your Lord. Read in the name of your Lord who creates man from a clot and taught man by the pen what man knew not read. And your Lord is most generous. He knew it was a communication from the Most High. But when he came out of the cave, they say he saw the outline, the silhouette, the form of a man in 4 different directions. What was that all about? He went on and he began to preach. And one day, a man came up to him, dressed in white, and began to question him on matters of faith. And when he answered correctly, the man nodded and approved and walked away. And the prophet, peace be upon him, asked his companions, do you know who that man was? They said, no. He said, that is Jibreel. Was he a human being? Was he dressed? Did he talk? Did he walk? But he was a man. And Muhammad never said he was the messenger of Jibreel. He said he is the messenger of Allah. But he recognized that it was that form, that human being in which God had placed a message to reveal it to the prophet. So who came in the person of Jibreel? Talk to me. Who came in the person of Jibreel? Allah came through him in the message of guidance, of power, enlightenment, of beneficence and mercy. It came to Muhammad through a man. They agree. I said, of course, when the angels went to Mary, in the Quran, they said, Mary, we bring you good news of a son. So how could you tell me I'm going to have a child and I've never been unchaste? Oh, don't worry about that. It's easy for Allah. All he has to say is be, and it is. Another part of the Quran, it says, and we sent her our spirit,
That's right.
and it appeared unto her in the form of a well-made man. So the spirit of the eternal, the spirit of the infinite, was traveling in that which was finite. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, Allah came to us in the person of Master W. Farad Muhammad. What did he say wrong? A man came among us. I never saw him. You never saw him. But we saw the effect.
Yes, sir.
We met a man that he made. A man that only went to the 4th grade, but taught us things that no man had ever spoken before. He taught us about life on this planet and taught us about life in other spheres. Gave us the measurement of our earth, the land and the water, and gave us the distance between the planets. Counted the atoms. Come on. And every time we look around, the white scientists are fixing their measurements, coming closer and closer to that which you know and have known since 1930 in this city of Detroit. You've been blessed, but you don't know your blessings. You've been blessed, but you don't count your blessings. Huh? A man came among us and taught us how to eat, to live. And we became the most beautiful black people on the earth.
Come on.
You know, we weren't too pretty. But when we started believing, and without a lot of questioning, went to following what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we started eating 1 meal a day. No pork. Our skin began to brighten and shine. And you went back among your high school buddies. You look fabulous. What are you doing? You go back among those that are your age and they're broken down. But you standing there like a light, even though you're half practicing. Half practice is better than no practice at all. Now the enemy says he had an experiment with mice.
Listen.
Rats.
That's right.
He fed one rat 3 times a day. Fed another rat once a day. And the rat that ate 3 times a day, anything he wanted, that rat died. And the rat that was eating 1 meal a day extended its time. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I'm like a traffic cop, standing in front of the grave, slowing down the traffic. Now, don't you want to slow down? What are you rushing into the grave for? You're going to be there a long time. Don't you think you ought to stop running to the grave and start a real slow, real, like slow motion kind of walk to the grave?
Come on.
When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was among us, we hardly saw a funeral. Some of us didn't even believe that we died. We had one man that could go all over the country burying the dead. One man did it. You had the best. We just needed to grow and mature. There were many things, as the Jesus said, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad could teach us. But we couldn't bear it at that time. We didn't have the foundation for it. Then we got all thrown off the track by aspects of his personal life that we did not understand. And of course, when Brother Imam Warathuddin came into office and the upset that he felt over his father's personal life caused him to speak disparagingly against his father and the wives that were a part of his father's life. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, judged people out of their book. If a Jew came to the Prophet, he didn't put on him the Quran, he judged him by the Torah. If a Christian came, he judged him by the Injil. If you're going to judge Muhammad, what book should you judge his actions out of? You should judge his actions out of the Quran. I said to our questioners today, this is the last message before the judgment of the world. Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet to bring this message. No prophet after him. Honorable Elijah Muhammad never said he was a prophet. Never. But I ask you, in fairness, since the Quran says that every nation has received a messenger,
Listen.
who is the messenger for the United States of America? And does America qualify to receive one? Come on.
Come on.
The enemy stopped the Quran from coming to the New World. This was a book only read in secret
Listen.
by Muslim Shriners. True?
Yes, sir.
You have a Bible, a book that has been added into and added out of. So you don't have a true knowledge
That's right.
of what God revealed to Moses or what God revealed to Jesus, and you never knew what God revealed to Muhammad.
Come on.
So you are lost in the wilderness
Come on.
with corrupted scriptures.
Come on.
Do you qualify to receive a messenger of God? You say, well, yeah, but the prophet is the messenger to the whole world. Yeah, he is.
Come on.
But they didn't bring it to the whole world.
That's right.
So there's a whole world that don't know.
Right.
Over 500 million people in the Western Hemisphere that don't have any knowledge of Allah or Muhammad or the Quran and have a corrupted knowledge of Christianity. Who will teach them? So I said, we don't need a prophet. We need somebody to bring the message of the messenger. And the message of the messenger is the Quran.
Come on.
Who will be such one? See? And then whenever Allah raised a messenger, who did he raise him from among? If in this context you have a rich and powerful slave master and oppressor and a weak and powerless people who are oppressed, historically, who does God raise his prophets and messengers from?
Come on.
He raises them from among the weak,
Yes.
the oppressed,
Yes.
the enslaved.
Yes. Come on.
Do you qualify?
Oh, yes. Come on, brother.
Then God gave us what we were qualified to receive. And he was faithful in bringing us this message. But in 1975, he departed from us. Well, they say he died. The messenger is dead. I saw a body, I mean. Right? Looked like my father. Spiritual father. He just looked like he was 20 to 25 years younger. I kissed the forehead. It's a body. Looked like my father. I said, oh, he looks so young and peaceful. He was wrapped in, you know, the garb when they wrap the dead in Islam. You all never saw the body. But I did. And I believed that my father was gone. Like most of you. Well, if he's gone, now, how does this thing make sense? Now, how can I make sense out of it? Wait a minute.
Come on.
He said in the Theology of Time, I'm the Jesus that you've been looking for.
Yeah, come on.
Well, if he is the Jesus, you preached it, I preached it. You believed it, didn't you, Donnell? You believed it. Oh, Muslims, come on. Did you believe he was the Jesus? You did? What Jesus did you believe he was?
Come on.
Did he open our eyes? Did he unstop our ears? Did he loosen the knot in our tongue? Did he raise us from the dead? Did he cleanse the leper? Did he heal the person with the withered hand? Did he make us throw away the bed that we was laying on and get up and walk? He did that. Then who was he? He was a Jesus to us. Okay, well now there, in the history of the Jesus given in the Bible, there are two parts to his assignment. The Jesus of the Quran. Let me read it for you.
Come on, brother.
Oh, this is so wonderful. Y'all got to pardon me. Well, I love to talk about my daddy. Well, you know my daddy is our most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now look. And when the angel said, "Oh, Mary, surely Allah gives you good news with a word from him of one whose name is the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, worthy of regard in this world and the hereafter, and of those who are drawn near to Allah. He will speak to the people when in the cradle.
Yes. Come on.
And he will speak when of old age.
Come on. Yes, sir.
And he will be of the good ones."
Yes.
Now, what is old age? Some of us may be blessed to get there. But those of us who are reaching there, we know what old age is.
Come on.
Jesus, the prophet 2,000 years ago, never lived to be an old man.
Come on.
The Christians say he died at 33.
Right.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said Master Farad Muhammad taught him he died at 36. But 36 or 33 is young. Then he was not the Messiah.
Go ahead.
Talk to me. Let me show you about this Messiah. She said, "My Lord, how can I have a son? And man has not yet touched me." He said, "Well, even so, Allah creates what he pleases. When he decrees a matter, he only says to it, be. Be.
Come on.
And it is." I want you to listen now, because this Quran don't make no mistakes. This is the word of Allah. It is mathematically precise. Whether you understand it or not, this book is mathematically precise. I can't speak Arabic, so I have to go by the translation. But I got my brothers here who speak Arabic, and they will help me out. Brother Baghdadi, our dear brother who writes in the final call. Brother Baghdadi. All right, now look at this. It says, and he, Allah, this is he capitalized, talking about what Allah, they're talking about the Messiah. But wait a minute. Wait a minute now. This is an ayat revealed to who? Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 600 years after Jesus.
Come on, brother.
Now listen.
Come on.
I want you to hear me good.
Come on, brother.
I'm going to take a drink of water. Now, since Prophet Muhammad comes after Jesus, whom we recognize as a prophet, not God,
Listen.
a prophet.
Listen.
But now Allah is revealing to the Prophet Muhammad about one coming. I give you good news. And when the angel said, oh Mary, he will speak to the people. Will. Not he has spoken to the people from the cradle.
Come on.
Now if I'm misinterpreting
Come on, brother.
the tenses of the verbs, then you scholars of Arabic have to go back now and look at that book again.
Right.
It says he will, not he has spoken.
That's what it says.
He will, future tense.
Right.
They're talking about a future man
Right.
who will speak to the people when in the cradle.
Come on.
What is a cradle?
Come on.
You think it's talking about some little manger? That's 2,000 years ago, 600 years before the prophet. It's talking about a cradle coming in the future.
Come on.
The cradle is the nation of Islam in its baby state.
Yes, sir.
But a mature man, but a baby in the knowledge of Islam, he will speak wisdom when he's a little boy, and yet he will mature in that knowledge and speak wisdom when he becomes even an old man. Now see if I can prove my point. I'm telling you, the whole world needs to understand the book a lot better. And it's not that you're going to understand it from the eastern side of the equation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God is going to raise someone up in the west.
Yes. Come on, brother minister. Come on.
Look. Now it says, and he, Allah, will teach him the book.
Come on.
What is this called? Al-Kitab. This is the book. This is the book. He said he will teach him the book and the wisdom of the book and the Torah and the gospel. So there's a man coming after Muhammad.
Come on. Come on.
And his name will be called Jesus, the son of Mary, the Messiah. Not Jesus, the prophet,
Come on.
but Jesus, the Messiah.
Come on.
And he will teach him the book and the wisdom. So the book can't be the Torah and the gospel, because now he mentions the book and the wisdom, then he says the Torah and the gospel. And he will make him a messenger to the children of Israel.
Come on.
Now, as I forestated, Allah says in the Quran, every nation has received a messenger. Who is the messenger for America? This is a nation, the most wicked and corrupt nation on the earth. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, brought this book for the whole of humanity. But when this part of the earth was founded and established, Islam was not wanted here.
That's right.
So they don't have 500 million people in this hemisphere don't have the Quran. They don't have the message of the messenger. Nor do they have true Christianity or the true message of the Torah. They have a corrupted Bible and no Quran. Talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Well, if every nation will have a messenger, and look at Surah 32. See, beloved Muslims, we all of us, have a lot to learn, and we should never arrogate to ourselves that we know all that we need to know about Islam.
That's right.
Surah 32, listen to this. I, Allah, am the best knower. The revelation of the book, there is no doubt in it, is from the Lord of the worlds. Or do they say, he has forged it? Nay, it is the truth from thy Lord, that thou mayest warn a people to whom no warner has come before thee, that they may walk aright. That cannot be talking of Prophet Muhammad and the Arabs.
Listen.
Stop.
Yes, sir.
Let's think.
Yes.
That you may warn a people to whom no warner has come before.
Come on.
Prophet Muhammad received this revelation in Mecca.
Yes.
Was Abraham there?
Oh, yes.
Was Ishmael there?
Yes, sir.
On the Arabian Peninsula, where was Hud and Saleh?
Right there.
Were they not on that peninsula?
Yes.
Well, how can the Arab world claim that Muhammad was a warner to them and there was no warner before him? That is false. Yes. But you have never had a warner.
Never.
America has never had a divine warner from God.
Never.
So a warner is due to come that will warn a people to whom no warner had gone before, that you may walk how?
All right.
All right. Make him a messenger. That term makes a lot of our brothers upset. This is the message.
Yes.
And he who carries this
Come on.
is a messenger of the messenger who brought this message.
Come on.
Every Muslim should be a messenger. Every Muslim should be a messenger of the messenger that brought the Holy Quran. Why do you think Master Farad Muhammad gave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad 104 books to study? Most of these books had aspects of the life of Prophet Muhammad. Why did he put him on that study? It is because Prophet Muhammad's life is the paradigm. Prophet Muhammad's life and aspects of his life must be studied, because we, in establishing Islam in America, have to walk in the same way that the Prophet walked to establish Islam in Arabia. That's why you got to study his motion. When you say, I follow the Sunnah, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the way he, fixed his beard? Are you talking about how he wore his, he got jalabiyah? How many inches from his ankle? Are you talking about the way he ate with his hands? Are you talking about the mishwak that he used to cleanse his teeth? What is the Sunnah? You strain at a gnat and you swallow a camel. The Sunnah of the Prophet is the path that he walked, the words that he spoke, the principles that he followed in establishing Islam in Arabia and throughout the world. That is his Sunnah. And that is what every one of us has to follow. Well, you ask yourself now, well, if the Prophet was the one that Master Farad Muhammad had him to study, and when Master Farad, when we had a picture of him, we see him with the Quran in his hand reading. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't Elijah Muhammad preach to us of what he knew of Prophet Muhammad? Why didn't he drive into us the good that he knew of Prophet Muhammad? Why didn't he do that? That's a legitimate question. That is a very legitimate question. Because if the Prophet is the example of Islam, why did not he point us to him? Why did he point us to himself?
Listen.
Oh, that's a deep one.
Yes, sir. Come on, brother.
But here's a cursory answer. Since Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in one of his hadith said, 3 generations after me will what? Be no longer of me. What did he know? He knew that Shaitan was going to cause his beloved community to deviate. Now, Brother Baghdadi, my dear brother, in this Quran it reads, Allah says, and Shaitan are having a conversation. And Shaitan says to Allah, because you have judged me to be erring and caused me to remain disappointed, I will lie in wait for them in thy straight path. I'll come after them, from before them, from behind them, from their left side, from their right side. And I'll make all of them deviate. And Allah said to Shaitan, whosoever follows you, I will certainly fill hell with you all. In another place, Shaitan says, I will make all of them deviate, and you won't find most of them thankful. And then Allah answered saying, you will get all except my purified ones. Now listen to this. Of all of the Muslims in the world, 1,250,000,000 and steadily climbing. Shaitan will get all except my purified ones. Allah says in the Quran, they didn't become divided until after revelation came to them, splitting up their religion into sects and parties, each one glorying in their part due to envy. What has happened to the beloved world of Islam? Is it split up now?
Yes, sir.
Is our religion divided into sects and parties? And each one glorying in their part, that our part is right, your part is wrong. I'm Sunni, I have nothing to do with Shia. I'm Shia, I have nothing to do with Sunni. I'm Hanafi, I'm Hanbali, I'm Sufi. And what was the prophet?
Come on.
He was none of those, yet all of those. And then some. So our faith, our world is divided. Suppose the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, let's go follow Prophet Muhammad. He's been gone. The rightly guided companions are gone. Who is there for us to follow? Oh. Think about it. If we follow that world in the condition that that world is in, then we would be in the same condition that they're in. We would know Arabic. We would say our prayers in Arabic. We would fast during Ramadan. We would go to Mecca. We would study the Quran and pore over it and be the captives of the Zionists and the captives of America, while we claim that there is no God but Allah. When Clinton calls to hell with prayer, we will bow down to Clinton. Now, come on. He knew that the prophet was gone, but he also knew he was the perfect representation of that sunnah for us. So he pointed us to him.
Yes, sir.
And he caused us to be a revolutionary type of new Muslim. Talk to me.
Yes, sir.
We may not have known the Arabic. We may not have performed salat. We may dua. But even for a Negro in America to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and perform dua, the angels in paradise just jumping up and down. It's true.
Yes, sir.
These sisters were wearing mini dresses with splits all the way up to wherever. Walking the street with their adornments showing. You say Elijah Muhammad not a good Muslim, but he said, no, come on, sisters, lower the hem of your garment, stop now, cover, cover, cover. Didn't he teach you this? And the angels in paradise said, whoa. Look at what he's doing for those that were destroyed.
Yes. Talk.
Our brothers in the East, they smoke cigarettes.
Sure do.
He said, oh.
Come on.
No cigarette.
Right.
No alcohol.
See?
No pork.
That's right.
I want you to eat once a day.
Right.
I want you to fast.
Right.
Because it's prescribed for you. But they said, but you're not a true Muslim. Because you fast in Ramadan and you ain't fasting with us. You fasting in December. Oh, let's see.
Come on.
Allah says, "Oh, you who believe." Fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may guard against evil. Stop right there. It ain't talking about Ramadan. Not just talking about fasting. Now, Muslims, how often do you fast? Well, I just wait until Ramadan comes, baby. And if I can get through that, I figure I've done my duty. But evil is pervasive. As a young follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I fasted every month. 3 days. My wife will tell you I fasted 5 days. I fast 7 days. I fast 10 days. I fast 12 days. I fasted 40 days. Notwithstanding Ramadan now. Why are you fasting, Farrakhan? It's a prescription. Who's the doctor that wrote it? Dr. Allah. And Dr. Allah says, if you want to guard against evil, stop eating so much. Because if you can discipline the appetite of food and drink, you can discipline the appetite of sex and the greed that has caused human beings to prey on one another and destroy the brotherhood. If you can discipline your stomach and the need for water, which is 75% of your body, surely you can discipline a lying, gossiping, slandering tongue. We don't fast that much, so we lie a lot, gossip a lot, slander a lot, fornicate, commit adultery, gamble, do all the things that Allah said don't do, and wonder why we are unsuccessful. We are unsuccessful to the degree that we are not guarding against evil. And you can't guard successfully against evil without prayer and fasting. Okay, now look at this. For a certain number of days. Didn't specify. That's right. That's telling you that all throughout the year you should practice fasting for a certain number of days. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And whoever of you is sick and on a journey, you can fast a like number of other days. Now, it's not talking about Ramadan now. Yes, sir. It's talking about fasting. Yes, in other words, fasting is a prescription. We are sick. Yes. The doctor has given it to us, and we have got to follow the doctor's orders if we want to get well. Yes. So even though you may be physically sick or on a journey, if we in the nation fast this week 3 days and next month 3 days, well, next month will be Ramadan, but if we fast and you say, well, excuse me because I don't feel well and I'm traveling, Allah said, fine. I understand, but when you're free of your sickness and your travel, you fast a like number of days. Right. Now he gets to Ramadan. Yes, he said the month of Ramadan is that in which the Quran was revealed. Listen. A guidance to men and clear proofs of the guidance and the criterion. Woo. Now my question to Islamic scholars, since this is a precise book, if the revelation started on the night of power, which is near the end of the month of Ramadan, sometime around the, what, 25th, 6th, 7th, somewhere in there, around in there, the night of power. They're not exactly sure which it was, but they come pretty close. If right near the end of the month, he heard the words Ikra, Read. And then it says he went out of the cave. And it seemed like revelation had stopped for a while. Come on.
That's right.
Then he got another communication.
Right.
And then another.
Right.
And over 23 years, a book was revealed, compiled,
Yes.
put together by the direction of Allah.
Yes.
And we have this book now in our hands. But the Quran says the month of Ramadan is that in which the Quran was revealed. Okay. Now some other scholars trying to make it fit.
Yes, sir.
They know something is amiss, but they don't know exactly what it is. So they try to make it fit. And they say, well, you see, Allah revealed the whole of the Quran to his heart at once. And then under circumstances, it would come out. Well, hell, if he revealed it all at once, then Gabriel's job was over the first time he saw him. But that's not true. Gabriel assisted him all the way through till the Quran was completely revealed. Something is missing here that needs to be discussed.
Come on.
So whoever of you is present in the month, he shall fast therein. Now you got the prescription, fasting generally. Now you got a specific instruction from God. Whoever is present in this month, you must fast therein, in that whole month. Then it says, but whoever is sick or on a journey, he shall fast a like number of days. Allah desires ease for you. So the Muslim world said, well, Elijah Muhammad, you're not a real Muslim. You're just not a real Muslim because you're not fasting with us during the month of Ramadan. You're fasting in the month of December. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yes, it's true. He said, but my people have been brought to America and robbed completely and spoiled. They are sick. They have been robbed of Islam, robbed of the knowledge of Allah. Now they're on a journey, on a pilgrimage back to Allah. So since they are sick and on a journey, and Allah desires ease for us, since we have been following Christians and going crazy during December 25th with this big fat Caucasian from the North Pole, Santa Claus. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, okay, we'll take December since it's the shortest number. No, it's the shortest days. And Allah desires ease. I'm going to get you to fast during the whole month. But the sun will set early, short, at 5 o'clock or somewhere nearby, and you won't have to have those long days like your big brothers. And since you are sick and on the journey, we're still going to keep the fast, but we'll keep it in a like number of days. Now look at this. And the Muslims said, they ain't true Muslim. But the angel said, whoa! Look, those Negroes in America, look at them. They're not drinking no water. They're not eating no food. They're not partaking of no sex. They won't quarrel and argue. They are fasting a like number of days. You can't see it, but Allah saw it. And Allah rewarded us and blessed us because. Go ahead. So I'm going to stop. I got another work to do. But let me say this. Oh, I started to show you about this Messiah.
Yes.
Now listen to this. Yeah, give me some more of that water, Chief. It says, make him a messenger to the children of Israel. Oh, my dear brother Baghdadi, well, he's really an angel. A man of high knowledge. He really loves the political arena, but in truth, he's very knowledgeable spiritually. And I believe before it's over, he's going to teach on another level, because in his growth and development, he saw error in the Muslim world in their practice of Islam. He saw how their practice of Islam and their just thinking on prayer and fasting and their concept of jihad. But the whole world is moving on and making scientific progress, and the Muslims are being left in the dust quoting the Quran. So they say, I'm Hafiz. I can quote the Quran from cover to cover, but I don't understand what I'm saying. I mean, you get credit for quoting the Quran, but you get more credit for understanding and trying to carry it into practice. Because that's what's going to bring change in the world.
Yes, that's right.
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, one learned man is harder on shaitan than 1,000 ignorant worshipers. And of the 1,250,000,000 Muslims, there's very few scholars. There are those who think they're scholars. And they are the teachers of the others, and therefore we have a lot of ignorant worshipers. And that is why Islam is weak and powerless in the face of the onslaught of the Zionists. Now, you saw that picture wagging the dog?
Yes, sir.
I didn't see it. But wagging the dog is a word that says that the tail, something small, instead of the dog wagging his tail, the tail is wagging the dog.
See? Come on.
Now I'm going over to my Arab Muslim family. Your family too.
Yes.
Our family.
Yes.
% of the population of this country is Jewish.
Listen.
Yet they're 42% of the cabinet and the cabinet support staff of the President of the United States. Now, if Madeleine Albright, the Secretary of State, a Jew and Zionist,
Yes, sir.
William Cohen,
Yes.
Secretary of Defense,
Listen.
a Jew,
Yes.
a Zionist,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rubin, Secretary of the Treasurer,
Yes, sir.
a Jew,
Yes, sir.
a Zionist.
Yes, sir.
Sandy Berger,
Yes, sir.
head of national security, a Jew, a Zionist. And look, nobody's around the president that has dual citizenship, that's black or Italian or Irish. They're citizens of the United States.
Right.
Jews got 2 citizenships.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother. Teach.
And the law says it's okay.
Listen.
Yes.
So if the top people around Clinton are Zionists, no wonder he uses the power of America against the real or perceived enemies of Israel, the little state. But this is Israel, the big state.
Yes, sir.
America has become Israel.
Yes.
Listen.
Oh, you didn't hear me.
Come on, brother minister.
Teach.
Look at the 13 stars
Uh-oh.
Teach.
that are in the seal of the president. I wish I had a board so I could show you those 13 stars. They're on your dollar. You look at it. Go take your dollar. You see those 13 stars there. If you take a pen and unite from the top to the bottom and over, you get a Star of David.
That's right.
6 sides with 6 angles of 60 degrees.
Go ahead.
And what is the number of the beast? The number of the beast is a number of a man, 666. Why is it that Saddam Hussein can say, okay, y'all can come back, but they don't want to go back? They have become a bloodthirsty beast. Now, my Arab brothers, see, you can't talk like me. I'm sorry that you don't have what it takes. This Quran said that Jews are the most violent of the people. And they're in control of the most powerful arsenal in the history of the world. And they're bloodthirsty. And they frighten the hell out the whole world. Look, family, I would almost be willing to bet my life, and I'm not a gambling man, that Netanyahu and Clinton trying to pressure Netanyahu into delivering 13% more of Palestinian land back to the Palestinians when all of it belonged to them. And remember this, Brother Baghdadi, as we mentioned the other night, one of the articles that they put, what time is it? Quarter to 3. Oh, I'll be finished in 15 minutes. Amen. And oh man, I lost my point.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, thank you. But, you know, Arafat, one of the first things they asked him, you got to strike this out of the PLO charter.
Right.
Of the destruction of Israel.
Right.
Arafat says, okay. But nobody raised, well, you got to destroy out of your mind Eretz Israel, which is taking all those lands that belong to Arabs and making that the greater Jewish state. And nobody making them give up that. They killed Yitzhak Rabin because he wanted to trade land for peace. And now Netanyahu's in a catch-22. He don't want to give the Palestinians nothing. But Clinton is saying, look, man, look. If this thing break out over there, all of us in trouble. So I'll tell you what. You agree to give them the 13%, and we'll give you Saddam Hussein on a platter.
Listen.
We'll take the oil fields in the south. I'll commit troops. You sign the peace accord. That will quiet the other Arabs. And then we will move on Saddam. Do you agree? Mr. President, that sounds like a great idea. In fact, we advanced it.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
So less than 2 months ago, President Clinton signed into law that $97 million of the taxpayers' money would be allocated for the destruction of Saddam Hussein and his regime by any means necessary. Okay, I'm concluding. Make him a messenger to the children of Israel. Now, this is Israel.
Yes.
Listen.
And who are you? Boy?
Yes.
Gal? Who are you? You're the children owned and possessed.
Listen.
Not only of they're holding you as a prey, but you are possessed of their mind and their spirit. And make him a messenger to the children of Israel.
Go ahead, brother. Teach.
And say, I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. See, when he comes, this is what he's supposed to say. I have come to you with a sign from your Lord that I determined for you out of dust, the form of a bird.
Yes. Come on.
And then I breathe into it, and it becomes a bird with Allah's permission.
Come on.
And I heal the blind and the leprous. And I bring the dead. Now this is the Messiah talking. I do this. I heal the blind. I heal the leper. I bring the dead to life, but not by my power, but by the power of Allah. Look at this. And I inform you of what you should eat
Listen.
and what you should store in your houses.
Yes.
Surely there's a sign in this for you
That's right. Teach.
if you are believers. And here we are, destroyed, humbled in the dust. Bird here means that he takes nothing.
Come on.
A people devoid of purpose. That's what is meant by dust. Dust is a particle of matter having no purpose. You and I have become a particle of matter having no purpose. But he took us from dust. He formed us into a bird, meaning he gave us wings.
Come on.
And he breathed into us. Huh? What do you mean? And when he made Adam, he said he breathed into Adam of his inspiration.
Come on.
He breathed into us, and we became a bird by Allah's permission.
Yes.
Look at it. And he opened our eyes,
Yes.
and he cleansed the leper.
Come on.
And he brought us from a dead level to a living perpendicular. What is one of the attributes of Allah? The raiser of the dead. No human being raises dead. No human being gives sight to the blind. No human being determines from dust the form of a bird. This is the work of the Creator. And when a human does that kind of work, it's not the human working, it is God working in that human for the advancement of other human beings. Now I close.
Go ahead.
In the book of Revelation, the 5th chapter, there are 24 elders and 4 beasts,
Listen.
and they are lamenting because there's a man sitting on the throne with a book in his hand. And no one is worthy to take the book out of his hand and open the seals thereof. And heaven was sad because there was no one worthy. And then they looked, and they saw a lamb that looked as though it had been slain from the foundation of the world. And the lamb walked up to him that sat on the throne and took the book. Didn't take an ayat. He didn't take a verse or a surah. He took the book. It probably was in the month of Ramadan. Now I'm going to let you go. This great book, Quran, leads us up to the judgment. And then it says, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has it entered into the heart of any man to conceive what lies beyond this world. This book brings us to the door, but it doesn't admit us in. The Bible closes, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, no man has perceived what lies beyond. All of it is in a book. And so, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work did not end in 1975. His work had just begun. But he had to find among us a helper. Now you may disagree, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to always say to me, when I would come and sit with him, he would say, I saw a man walking up a mountain late in the evening, carrying a heavy load. And he said, Lord, when will my help come? And as he got up that mountain, he said, Hosanna, Hosanna, my help is come. And the angels took him and bore him away over the dashing foam. And when I would come, he would say it again. And then I would come and he would say it again. I don't know what he's talking about. A man climbing up a mountain, carrying a heavy load, saying, Lord, when will my help come? I'm sitting there. But I don't know that he wants me to arrive at a certain level of consciousness so he can drop the heavy load on my shoulders. And so I finally understood, and the angels came and took him away over the dashing foam. But there I was, left now with the burden. And he said of me that I am more valuable to him than all the wealth that is in the earth. Because that wealth he met when he came here, and when he leaves, he'll leave it here. But through you, brother, I will get all of my people. Which means that he recognized that Allah had made me in a very special way to retrieve the people of God. Now I close. This ain't just talking about you. The Arab Muslim need to be retrieved. They are lost as you are. And we have become enemies of each other. rather than brothers fighting for the cause of Islam. So, here we are now in the second phase of the work, and you think that Farrakhan is doing this on his own.
Listen.
You don't see the man behind the door.
Come on.
Guiding the brother that you see.
Come on. Yes, sir.
Do you think I could call 1 million people and nearly 2 million come? You can't put that on me.
Come on, brother.
This Quran says a sign of the resurrection is that God told Abraham, take 4 birds that you didn't create, put them on 4 mountains,
Yes.
and then call them. And when they land in your hand,
Yes.
that is the sign of the resurrection. I never authored the lives of the people I called, nor the call that I made. I made the call for 1 million, and nearly 2 million lighted in my hand.
Come on.
See, the wise white people know that Farrakhan has to be driven either by insanity or he's driven of God.
God. Yes. God.
When are you going to wake up and see? And stop hanging around me and start helping me? When are you going to wake up and understand that God has raised a man in America to challenge America and beat her down in the name of God? I'm telling you, I'm going to win. Even though I look insignificant, Allah is sufficient. Now, why don't you help me? Why don't you stop making excuses and let's stand up and go to work like never before. Go after the lost and found. Bring them to the mosque. Get yourself together and let's be better Muslims. During the month of Ramadan, let's make this the best fast we've ever had. In closing, here's what I want you to do. During the month of Ramadan, we're not going to fast in December like we did. We're going to fast not a like number of days. We're going to fast the number of days during the month of Ramadan with the Muslim world.
Yes, sir.
I think we're mature enough now.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to go and hang a Christmas tree up in your house. Some of you might.
Watch out.
And if you put a stocking on your chimney, I just might come down. Oh, you're big enough now. You're mature enough now. We can stay away from madness when we know that that's what it is. And let us fast with all the Muslims as Allah has ordered us to do. Now, this is a subject for another time. Diet. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew that meat, even though it's okay, it's all right by the Bible and the Quran, we could eat meat. It's not a sin to eat meat. So if you like meat, eat meat. But if you want to live long, maybe you should cut it down. See, because meat, if you just take your hand, do this, and rub it like that. Flesh against flesh. And if you do that for 5 minutes, you'll create friction. And that friction creates heat. And that heat will burn away the skin. When you put meat in the stomach, the meat is working now. The acids that are in there to oxidize the food, is causing, it's like a washing machine, action going on up in there. And that meat is rubbing against the flesh, flesh against the flesh.
Right.
Acid's breaking it down. And it takes a lot more time to break meat down than it does to break a fruit down or vegetable down. So the longer you eat meat and regular, you start wearing away the lining of your stomach. And this is why you don't live too long. But if you want abundant life, long life, then you got to slow down on the meat eating. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, during Ramadan, he said, well, you all eat fish. And we ate fish during that whole month. No land animal. You remember? What was he trying to do? If you go back to how to eat to live, he said, okay, I'm taking you away from the pork.
Right.
And you cried. Because you know we love that pork. You say, what? No pigfoot? No pork chop? How am I going to live?
That's true.
Okay, then we substituted. We started into the beef, and we were heavy with the steaks. And we couldn't wait for Ramadan to end. Sometime at midnight, when the fast was over, a big steak would be, you know that's the truth. Then we started getting mad cow disease.
That's right.
Cows sick, and you eating it.
Mm.
Now the lamb. Oh, we Muslims love lamb, Lord. Oh, brother. When I go in the holy world, they bring a lamb out on a bed of rice. Oh, Lord. I ain't never liked fish. Well, because Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, well, they eat fish during Ramadan. The angels would say, look at him moving them. Boy, this is a wonderful thing he's doing. Now this Ramadan, I'm asking that you don't eat meat and you don't eat fish. That this Ramadan, when we break the fast, only fruit and vegetables, properly cooked. Because as we get more and more away from the flesh of the sea and the flesh of the land, and then watch how we intake the food, how we cook the food, you will find your health improving when your diet improves and your thinking improves. I'm writing it in an article. It will be out in the next week or so. But this next article, I got to talk to Clinton. Beat him up. So, the work has just begun. Let's go to work and make America Islamic. Let's go to work and make our community Islamic. Allah is with us. Today I will be speaking at the Islamic Center in honor of a wonderful imam. I don't know whether all of us will fit, because I'm sure it'll be crowded. But I guess everybody's welcome?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so I'm going to go in the back and refresh myself for a minute, and then get ready to talk to my wonderful Arab and Muslim family. Arab-Muslim family, because they're all Muslims. And I want to thank Brother Baghdadi for coming from Chicago and visiting with us. And thank you. But I want you to consider what we said today. You are potentially a very wonderful people, and we all can be better than what we are. And I'm hoping that Minister Dawood will continue to study the Quran and the character of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the root of that character in Prophet Muhammad and the root of that character of the Prophet in the word of the Quran. And if we will practice trying to just be better as people, treating each other better, being honest in our communication, and letting our yea be yea and our nay be nay, and speaking straight words. Oh, this is my brother getting up. Oh, Brother Clarence. Oh, Brother Clarence, come on down here and let me get a hug, man.
That's right.
Yes, sir. If they come once a month or once a year, whatever you see, bear them on your shoulder. So thank you. Thank you.
Come on, family, give it up. The Honorable